All right, we're back here with take two of the Extrausual first podcast. This is our first attempt at a podcast. My first run, my first take, I didn't have the mixer plugged into the computer, and it sounds like from the comments of the peanut gallery, it's a good thing. And so. They seem to they told me to shorten it up and to give it a little more character. So that's what we're going to do. All right, I'm going to start this as if it's a real podcast. I'm going to mention my so-called sponsors, but I got 4 people who've helped me get in my journey to this point. Even though nobody's paying me to mention them. One is Diamond Dallas Page. He's an ex-professional wrestler. He's a Hall of Fame champion professional wrestler, retired, and he's opened a yoga center in Smyrna, Georgia, and he's got the. He's a co-founder of DDPY or DDP Yoga. And he is doing the he took traditional yoga and he's added some additional calisthenics and different things to it. And he reached out to me in January, and I've been following his meal plan. I couldn't have lost the weight. I'm 158 pounds down. I couldn't have lost the weight without DDTV support, encouragement. I got to send him my journal every day. He jumps on me when I don't do his yoga. He wears me out.
No bacon. Don't eat any more bacon.
Yeah, he told me last night I couldn't eat bacon at 8:30 at night, and and so he gives me those nuggets of wisdom. And jumps on me every day.
Every once in a while, you listen to him.
Yeah, no, sometimes I listen to him, but no, I couldn't have got here without him. I encourage everyone to check out DDP Yoga. He's got an app that you can get on your phone or computer. He's got DVDs you can buy. Check your Facebook group out, DDP Yoga on Facebook. He's on Instagram and Twitter. He's a super positive, super supportive, super program. I encourage everyone to get involved in DDP Yoga. The second person I'd like to mention is Bert Chrysler. He started me on this journey. He's an inspiration of mine. He's a comedian out of California. He's been on Travel Channel. He's been designated as the #1 party animal in America by Rolling Stone magazine back in the 90s. He's a wonderful character. He's had shows like Bert the Conqueror and Hurt Bert, and he's, if you can catch him and see a stand-up act, or he's got a new Netflix special coming out August 24th called Secret Time. And every time he says, okay, secret time, something good's coming about him, and it's personal about him and his family. So I'm looking forward to that Netflix special, and I encourage everyone to check it out and support this guy. He has supported me through this journey of mine, and he was the catalyst that got me off the couch. My third sponsor is Crazy Water. Crazy Water is, Kevin wants me to say Crazy Water. It's water from Mineral Wells, Texas. It's alkaline mineral water. It's they've got 4 different numbered waters, and each one has different mineral contents and solutions. And I like the number 4 because it tastes like well water. It's real soft, but some people don't like that taste, and so they drink the 2 or the 3. But I encourage you to try Crazy Water. It's an awesome tasting water. My 4th sponsor is Fresh Enrico, and this is a guy named Eugenio Torres. He does meal preps. He's got a professional kitchen here in Waxahachie. He does meal preps, and all of his meals are health conscious, 300 to 600 calories. All of them are, I think they're $11 a piece. Kevin's and his wife Kathy's eating some, and Mary's eating them. I don't know, Wynne, have you eaten them?
No, I haven't tried them yet.
You haven't tried them? But it's a great meal. He's a professional. I mean, he's a college-trained culinary arts graduate of the prestigious Johnson and Wales School in Miami, Florida, of their culinary arts program. So he is a trained chef that we're lucky to have here in Ellis County. And so if you live in Ellis County or the contiguous counties and you want to try some meal prep for home, Chef Toys is the way to go. Go to his website at freshandrico.com. That's fresh, the letter N, rico.com. And you'll find his weekly menu there, and you can order a la carte or you can order the week's menu, and he'll deliver it personally to your house. He delivers on Mondays and Wednesdays. And so it's a wonderful program, but it's a local program. You got to be here. But I can't encourage you enough to try Chef Torres's food. They're outstanding meals. All right. That's my sponsors. That's the way we're going to try to start the show, and then we're going to get into the meat of the show. But today I have 4 guests here. One is Kevin Helms. He is my second or third cousin. I'm not sure how that works, but his grandfather was my grandmother's brother, and we've grown up together. He's been in my life my whole life. He's my best friend. He's also a smart ass, and that's why I've asked him to be on the podcast. And so he's going to be lobbing in smart ass comments, and he's the color commentator. He's the Brockmeyer of the crew.
Brockmeyer.
Yeah, he's the Brockmeyer for those fans of Brockmeyer show. So he's the Brockmeyer of the crew. And then I've got my wife Mary. She's here for her beauty and her wit. You can especially see the beauty on this podcast. And but she's also here to make sure that I don't say anything that gets me fired from my job at the DA's office. So she's here as the censor and to try to keep me under wraps.
And I didn't know that was my job.
Well, also to be funny.
It's
you got to
hard.
be funny
That's
too.
a hard job.
Yeah, keeping me under
The
wraps.
struggle is real.
All right, and so today the interviewee is played by Wynne Stallcop. Wynne is he's been with me on this journey from the beginning. He's lost 50 pounds himself, 50 plus, and he was a year ahead of Kevin and I in school at Waxahachie, and he manages how many cement plants do you manage?
I've got 2 aggregate plants, one in Indiana and one here in Texas.
And then you got the Diamond Pro product. Tell them about that.
We make baseball field material on about 18 major league fields right now, numerous college fields, and then all over the state of Texas.
Yeah. And so, how many professional baseball teams you got?
I think we're on about 18 ball fields right now in Major League Baseball, so over half.
Oh, shit, that's pretty cool.
It's not bad.
Yeah, and so I know you've been able to go see a lot of those ball fields. On behalf. What's the name of the product?
Diamond Pro.
But to sell or to have some input on the Diamond Pro product. What all baseball fields have you personally been to be?
Well, of course, I went to the 2 in Texas, but the coolest was in 2012 where I got to work the All-Star game in Kansas City. I got to work on the field crew, and what that meant is I was a lackey. I got to pick up the sunflower seeds and the cups, and because Major League Baseball players, even though there's 7 or 8 trash cans in the dugout, they will not throw a cup in there. So I was the rookie, even though I was about 48 years old at the time, and I got to pick up all the cups and sunflower seeds, and it was the best time of my life. It was really fun. Got to see some of my old heroes from baseball yesteryear when they had the Legends game, and was on the field with the stars of today. So it's been pretty cool. You saying that story reminds me of a memory I'm going to pick at Kevin about. Do you remember us going to the Ranger game, sitting in the outfield, and
guy hitting me with the
sunflower?
seed?
Yeah. Tell him that story. No.
I'm going to embarrass myself like that.
Well, all right, I'll embarrass you for you. But it was a Ranger game at the old stadium. What
What
It was
happened?
a Ranger game at the old stadium, and I guess my computer went to sleep, and we were sitting in the outfield next to. Was it the old one or the new one? I don't know. We were right next to the visitors' pitchers where they sit.
Bullpen.
Yeah,
bullpen. Was that in the old one or the new one, Wynne?
Well, the outfield at the new one, they're out there.
They're right there.
Yeah.
Well, we were sitting right there in that corner on the front row. I think it was the front row. And we were all sitting there drinking beer. And this was 20 years ago?
Yeah.
You got back to get the mic closer to
Guy
you.
started chunking sunflower seeds at me.
Yeah, Kevin was sitting on the end closest. What team was it? You remember?
Angels, I think.
The Angels. And he was spitting sunflower seeds. They were blowing on Kevin. And Kevin was getting madder and madder. And
I would be too.
yeah, he went to
spitting
cussing
stuff on me.
that damn pitcher. I can't even.
I don't remember who it was, but
Yeah,
I was ready to leave the ball game
yeah.
if it took that.
I just had visions of Kevin, seeing him on ESPN being dragged out of the outfield, and thrown in jail.
Bailing off into the pitcher's
Yeah.
bullpen.
You were about to show him some angels in the outfield.
Yeah.
We're gonna see what happened. We're gonna see what they had in the outfield.
Yeah, that was awesome. Yeah.
Don't think Kevin remembers it as awesome.
I was mad.
He's not as fond of that memory as I am. So
I like the one on the last
yeah,
stadium.
pull it, scoot in a little closer.
The last game at the last stadium.
The old Ranger
The
Stadium.
old Ranger Stadium.
That's
We had a good time with that one.
That's when you could bring your own drinks in.
Yeah,
And,
and we did.
Yeah, and we brought in was it liter or 2 liter bottles? I think it was liter bottles of Pepsi.
Yeah.
And we poured out half the Pepsi and poured in half bourbon. And we had them all in our cooler. And we were sitting out in the outfield drinking that bourbon and Pepsi. And we just got hammered. That was the last game in that old stadium. Did you ever go to that?
Oh yeah, that old stadium. Everybody sat in the outfield because there was more seats out there. The old aluminum seats, hotter than hell.
Yeah.
Loud
and
too.
we say new stadium, but we're about to get another
Yep.
stadium.
Yeah. They're going to build a whole new one. What's the name of the stadium
Dome.
now?
Globe Life,
Globe Life.
and so the new one will be too.
Oh, they
It
just
opens in
opened a new
2020.
thing at Globe Life Park.
I think the new one's going to be a
A
dome.
new
Texas
place
Live.
to
Texas Live just opened up.
You're going to have
go see concerts and
the
stuff.
turf in that one.
I hope not. They're talking about putting turf in there, but we don't like turf.
Yours isn't turf.
No, he's got this. It's the sand.
We're the dirt.
Oh,
He's the sand
We're the
part.
red
I
color.
got you.
And tell them the benefit of that Diamond Pro.
It just helps it when they're getting it dry, or helps the soil not clump up in the cleats. And just gives them a better playing surface.
I was thinking grass.
Yeah.
Grass turf.
Yeah,
Wasn't thinking the red dirt.
no, he's got the red dirt, and at least that's what they've talked him into buying anyway. Was the red dirt?
They love the red color. We have to
Yeah.
dye it to make it that color now. There's just something about baseball and inherent to. We used to make red down in Houston, and when we closed that facility, they still wanted red, so we had to learn how to dye gray material and make it red. Because baseball fields, we've got other colors. We've got a Camden color that's up in Baltimore, and it matches the color of the brick on the outside. The Peter Angelos wanted a color that matched the brick on the outside, so we had to figure out how to make this kind of rosy brown color so as when you walked in, you saw the same colors you did on the outside.
Now,
The
now,
mechanics of dirt.
Now wait a minute. Let me back you up. He wanted the dirt to be the same color as the bricks of the stadium.
Yeah.
Who is that?
Peter Angelos, I think, was the owner of the Orioles at the time.
Man, that's hands on.
And they dictate what they want. When Alex Rodriguez was here, we had gray infield conditioner because he like the way the ball looked off the gray as opposed to the red, so they had to take all of the red off and put gray on.
Well, that makes sense.
So
You gotta be able to see the ball.
one player can decide the color of.
Well,
the
when he
infield.
was making $25 million, yeah, he pretty much
year.
dictated everything that was going on here those days, for better or worse.
Well, let me tell you a little bit about the name. I call this Extrausual, and the vision I see for this podcast. I hope there's some interest in it. The name comes from an old farmer out of Maypearl named Scott Jackson, and he was a character who went to school at Texas Tech and grew up in Maypearl and farmed that area forever. He's gone now, but I got to know him through Habitat for Humanity, and one of my pastimes is sharpening knives, and at some events, fundraisers and different things, I'd sharpen knives and raise money for Habitat at the time, and someone called me a knife sharpener extraordinaire. And after that, every time Scott Jackson would see me, he would call me Vance Hinds, extraordinary. And I never knew if it was an insult or a comment. I mean, an insult or a compliment. But I like I can't even read extraordinary anymore. Every time I see it, all I think is extraordinary. But that name was taken, the domain name was taken, and so I was able to get Extrausual, and that's why my website and my podcast is called Extrausual, the Vance Hinds podcast and blog. And the vision I'm hoping is to interview someone each week that is extrausual, that is extraordinary or is extraordinary. Someone, it can be any individual. Does not have to be famous. It just has to be someone that's had a positive influence on your life, someone who has stepped out of the norm, who's gone above and beyond, someone who is truly influential and positive and extrausual. And so, we're hoping to get a different person in every week. And we're not targeting any type of individual. It could be a comedian. It could be a car salesman. Could be a farm worker. It could be a businessman. It could be anything. And so we just need people in here that that's got an exciting story to tell and something that would be interesting to for others to listen to and find out their story and how they got to where they are. And so if you've got any suggestions, someone who is in your life who was extrausual, you could send it to me at my Gmail email. It's vancehinds@gmail.com. That's VanceHinds@gmail.com. And we'll try to get them on here, and we'll try to interview them with this crack interview team we've put together here. This is a all-star team of interviewers. And we'll see if we can find out their story and let them, find out a little bit more about them and their life. So that's the name. Let's get back to this exciting interview with Wynne Stallcop. So Wynne, I know you grew. Now I know something else about you that's interesting. Tell me what your father's profession was.
Well, he had many, but the one that he's probably most famous for is he was a rattlesnake handler. Did that for several years, and they would go around different areas and put on shows with the rattlesnakes and put 300 rattlesnakes into a sleeping bag or wrap them up, put them in their hand, or walk around in a pit with 300 of them. And it was really, really dumb, but he enjoyed it. He made leather products also. He made belts and wallets, and so after the show, they would become part of this product line. But it was interesting. It started out kind of on a whim. Mm-hmm. We were part of the Parker County Hunters Association. They had a rattlesnake roundup every year. He was always kind of this guy that wanted to know how he could make his next million. He never made the first one, so he started working on the second and third, and ended up in this. And interesting life. He got bit by a couple of rattlesnakes and eventually even got bit by a cobra in the head while he was sleeping at night. So that was that. He was extra usual for sure.
He would have fit the definition.
Oh, absolutely.
Man.
Yeah, there's not much he hadn't done or hadn't tried. I love him to death. Miss him every day. But it was something else. But the time that he threw the big Eastern Diamondback on me and it hit the starch and the crease in my legs and my pants, I knew that I needed to get out of there because there was a venom stain on the front of my jeans that didn't bite me. It bit my jeans. And there was another stain in the back, and it wasn't quite the same color. So I knew that I wasn't getting paid for this, so I'm out of here. I'd have dreams at night about falling into the pit of rattlesnakes. So I don't even like to see them on TV anymore.
I'm no kind of snake man.
Kevin's the most feared. He fears snakes almost above anything else.
Yeah.
He can't even.
I'm not going to your dad's show, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Well, the day that he got bit by the cobra was we were living in New Braunfels, and we get a call. It's 4th of July. Your dad's in the hospital. I thought it was something to do with his heart condition that he had, and maybe because he was playing with snakes. But come to find out, he got bit by this cobra. And so we drive up to Fort Worth as quick as we can. We get up there. Of course, he's in a coma. It's a neurotoxin, so it works on the nervous system. He was out within an hour after getting bit. Fort Worth, all Saints, they didn't know anything about cobra bites, so they were literally going on. This is, just as the Google was getting together, they're online trying to figure out how to treat him. And so he's getting bit in the head by the cobra, and I'm thinking, okay, where's the snake at?
Where in the head? Where the head?
Right over his eyeballs.
Oh, wow.
He was living in the shop at the time, and he had went to feed the snake, and somebody came in the shop and just got his attention, and he forgot to close the aquarium that the snake was in, and the snake crawled out and crawled through the shop, and about 3 a.m, crawled up on the bed and hit him right between the forehead there. And I got to thinking about it. I knew there was 4 or 5 other people that had keys to the shop, and there was nobody there to tell me where that snake was. So I told my sister, I said, we got to go to the shop and find that snake. And we didn't know what we were walking into. We knew that there's a corner that had all these snakes, had rattlesnakes and cobras and pythons and everything. And so we get in there, and I find the box that's supposed to have the cobra, and there's no cobra. So now I don't know where the cobra's at, don't know what to do. But there's one little cardboard box in there. I said, well, maybe it's in there. So I open up the aquarium. I put the hook in there. And just about the time I touched the cardboard box, my sister was behind me with another hook, and she hit me in the leg. I thought I'd found the cobra. So I jumped through the ceiling. She's not a very, very nice person. And the snake crawled out of the box, and we closed the box up and went back in. He was in a coma for about 10 days. And if it wasn't for a guy named Bill Haas out of Florida, if you remember Discovery Channel when they did all this stuff, and this guy was the cobra whisperer. He would have the cobra bite him, and they make anti-venom. He's one of the first guys on Discovery that you'd ever saw these snake shows about. And my boss called me and said, you need to call that guy. And I said, well, there's no way. I mean, like, it's going to fall out of this. His number's going to fall out of the sky. I got off the phone with him. My sister calls me and said, hey, somebody's left a number on my message machine. Can you tell me who this is? And so she plays it back, and it was Bill Haas out of Florida.
Wow.
And he told me exactly what I needed to do. So we went back to the hospital. He said within 12 hours, because of his condition, he'll either die or he's going to start coming out of the coma. But we really didn't have a choice. So we did it, and 12 hours later, he started coming out of it. And when he got back in, when he got back and got going, he went and killed the cobra. Freeze dried it and put it up on the wall. But he had an unusual hobby, to say the least.
How many snakes did he have total?
It could be as little as 15 or 20 boxes that had the aquariums that had the live snakes in them. But if he'd go to Georgia to pick up some Easterns, he could have 500 or 600 in the boxes. He came back from Georgia one year, and he brought a little extra cargo there. It may or may not have been in a gallon jug. It might have been a little bit clear. And he got pulled over by a highway patrolman, and he says, boy, we think you might be we think you might be bootlegging a little bit. He says, what you got in that trailer there? And he goes, I got some rattlesnakes. And the trooper's like, yeah, right, whatever. Just open that box up. So he opens up the trailer and he pulls the first box out. And it says rattlesnakes on the side, but he didn't believe him. He said, open that box up. So he takes a hook and flips that lid up, and the big Eastern's going, hello. He says, boy, put that snake back in that box and get out of my state. Now, he was running shine, but
Yeah.
They're just snake bite medicine.
they weren't ever going to go in the front of that to see if it was in there or not.
You got to have a little snake bite medicine.
That's right. That's right.
My grandfather always had some. He said he'd never been bitten by a snake. See how well it worked?
Yeah, that medicine worked. Have y'all seen this video of these people handling these cobras?
No, I don't need
Feeding
to.
the cobras? Watch how nonchalant this guy is.
He's stupid.
This is a video on YouTube called "Just Your Average Day Feeding Cobras." So he gets a mouse. He's just got them in Tupperware jars, and they start getting out. If this is the video I'm thinking, he's just see, look, nonchalantly.
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh.
Oh, man, that just trying to get him.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, look how nonchalant he
It
is.
is not the job for me.
This is the way your dad did it?
Oh, it's on the ground.
Watch him.
It's on the ground.
He's just trying to get him to take the mouse.
They were daredevils. I mean, they would do things with snakes.
So he finally just threw it in the Tupperware today. He's put the snake back in with the Tupperware tray.
But just like anything, I mean, don't panic. Yeah. They're going to face the fear. And
Too late.
yeah,
Too late, Dave.
I panicked all the time.
There is no way I would even walk in the door of that joint.
Oh, shoot, he almost
Hell
got
no.
him.
So I don't want another damn mouse.
Yeah, look
Give me
at
something
that.
else.
Damn. Look at him. He just picks them up, sticks them back in there.
Well, the mouse is in its mouth, so it can't really bite you at this point.
I wouldn't trust it, though.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'm still not touching it.
I seen Kevin
He doesn't
run
even
from
lock
a,
them?
from
Lock
a,
the dills?
No,
No.
from a water snake
I
on a
don't
log.
care what kind of snake it is. I ain't going around it.
Yeah, I seen that sucker.
It's just a grass snake. I don't
I
care.
don't care what his name is.
Oh, you see how
That's
fast
snake.
Leanne ran after the third
Yeah.
copperhead on the trail?
Oh, look, man, there's a ton of copperheads on that hiking bike trail.
Getson
down
Daner,
there.
the third one we saw, she was gone.
Yeah.
No way.
We'd done walked 7 miles, but she's going to run the last mile. She was getting
Look at
off
that
that trail.
Yeah, dude.
Get me out of here.
We and there was one of the little ones. Wynne saw it first. He was leading the walk, and we got up there by it, and it was like right off the trail, and it blended in, and so I kind of took a stick and was kind of trying to get it to move on. That sucker wasn't going to move. You remember that?
Oh,
You
yeah.
were just antagonizing.
Yeah, I give up. Oh, that's how he locks it. I never saw how he locks it.
Well, I mean, I have to
puts
lock them because they can push their way
But it
out.
still seems like there's a gap
Yeah, it's
between
just,
the.
it's
No,
just
there's
a board.
It slides in under kind of like a drawer.
Oh,
No, thank you.
Nope, not doing it.
Kevin, you want me to subscribe to this channel
Yeah.
so we can watch it?
How many
Yeah.
mice does he have to feed these nasty things?
These are rats. Why do they have all these snakes?
No, what are they doing with them?
Scientific studies.
Whatever.
What'd your dad do with all them damn snakes?
He did make products,
Yeah.
and then they would also do shows.
Oh, he said, give me that rat.
And you said they didn't have anything to treat him with over there. And
Now, the first batch of antivenom they got was from the Dallas Zoo, and the second batch ended up being from the Fort Worth Zoo. But they had absolutely no clue what they were doing. They could handle a rattlesnake bite because it was a different type, or copperhead because it's a hemotoxin instead of a
it's an
neurotoxin.
albino cobra.
Nope, don't want no part of that.
dude, it's a lot more. He's got ice water.
So are
in his
these
veins.
mice
Yeah.
alive?
Yep, those are.
He's just nonchalant. He grabs a rat, throws it in there.
Some of them are. Oh, hello! You
Yeah,
didn't close it all
but
the
I
way.
seen that.
He gives it.
I'd be dropping stick, everything. Come out.
Get out of here! Hell no! I'm not messing with them snakes.
Look at him.
That's one of them jobs you get and go home at lunch and don't come back.
Yeah.
Shoot, go home on your morning break. Never come back.
You know he gets paid really well.
No,
I hope.
I get
Not.
paid by the enjoyment of playing with the snake.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's got to be a passion. You got to have a passion for feeding snakes like this, man.
A passion for feeding snakes.
Oh, man.
Passionately against it.
Yeah.
Not
Look, there's another white albino. Is that a different kind of cobra? Or is that an albino?
Usually it's
one?
just a different pigmentation in the snake.
It was a piss chip.
He
It was a
called
piss
it.
cobra. That's what it was. So how often do they have to give them a mouse?
Once a week, maybe sometimes once a month, depending on the environment they're in. Listen to me sound like I'm an expert.
Well, you're more of an
Yeah,
expert
you
than
close.
anybody
I have
sitting
no
in this
idea.
room. At least you're akin to an expert. Yeah.
They have
I did
snakes
a lot
out
of the
there at
shows, but I
greenery.
did a lot of them from outside the ring. I said, just give me the mic. I'll tell you what they're doing because
Kevin, were you there when George caught them ones?
No. When you kept raising the sack up.
Yeah, and then he brought that stupid snake to my house in
Yeah.
a burlap sack.
Yeah, we in college. My uncle would do the wrangling. He had a broomstick with a loop at the end, and he'd get them to coil up and put the loop around their head and pull it tight. And he had one eye, had a glass eye. His name was George Slaughter, and we were at a deer lease in Coleman, and it was spring turkey, I think, or well, I don't know. My memory's horrible, but George wanted to catch a snake we saw running across the road. Maybe it was down on Mukewater.
Brownwood.
Yeah, maybe it was Brownwood, but we got the snake. He got the snake to coil, and he got it on the end of the stick and pulled tight. And it was my job to hold the burlap sack open while he stuck the snake down in the sack. And I told George I'm going to shoot him if he gets me bit. And as George would lift the snake up to put him in the snack. In the sack, I'd lift the sack up higher and higher, and I was trying to get as far away from it as I could, and but he finally got that damn snake in the burlap sack, and we kept it in a 5-gallon bucket, and I kept it through the hunting trip, and something else that when George tightened that loop down on his head. It shot venom, I guess squeezing, and it hit him right above his glass eye. And so he's holding the snake, and he's telling somebody to wipe that venom out before it drips down into his eye. And anyway, so I was dating Mary at Austin College at the time, and so I took the snake back to Sherman, and I took it up to Austin College in my apartment, and I took it over to Mary. She was living with Stella Zaldivia at the time, her best friend. I took it over to their house and took it in there and shook the sack, made it rattle, and opened it up and showed it to them. And
Like, what the hell? Get out of here with that. Holy cow, look at that thing.
And I took it to some of my fraternity brothers and did the same thing, and I had the same reaction wherever I went. That snake would scatter the room when I opened the sack.
And then you put it in the freezer. Everybody was afraid to
Yeah.
open the freezer after that.
Yeah, Mama said she was afraid I was going to get bit, and so she told me if I killed it, she would pay to have it stuffed. And so I asked George how to kill it. He said, throw it in the freezer. So I threw it in the freezer, and that little rattlesnake, it wasn't a very big rattlesnake. It was maybe 3 foot. But
Big enough.
That rattlesnake curled up in like a little ashtray, looked like a little ashtray, and ducked his head under its body. And it was just it looked like almost like a dog poop, and with the head tucked
Didn't look
under
like
there.
dog. It was a snake.
So
scare the dog poop out of you.
yeah, so so Mama stuffed my rattlesnake for me, and I had it for years. I don't know what happened. Oh, I think I sold it in a garage sale, didn't I?
No, it's in the garage, isn't it?
That's George's. George's has a big one in the garage that's stuffed.
Everybody that came to our house would be like, "What is that?"
Yeah.
It's dead. Don't worry.
But yeah. All right, Wynne. What else is extra usual about your life?
Just friendship with you.
I don't know about that.
It's a little journey you put us on.
Yeah.
You're talking us into this weird crowd.
I really thought in December, we were just going to come out and we were just going to support my friend, walk with him the first time. And Austin and I go out there and we walked a mile and old Vance stopped 10 times. That's when he was out at 475, Wasn't quite the lean, mean fight machine he was now. But I said, well, we'll support him. I didn't know that I needed it just as bad as he did. I was up at 340 at the time. And we walked, and 10 times we stopped. And I said, well, I'll go anytime he wants to go. And we figured it would last a month, and then Vance would get enamored by something else and move on. But he hasn't, and I'm glad he hasn't. He's talked us into doing some really what I think are dumb things, like walking 12.5 miles or walking at night like Mary did, or going to body pump, but the overall quality of life has been a whole lot better because he did talk me into it, and I did keep coming, and really do appreciate it because it's done just as much for me as it has for you and my family too. So,
how much down are you?
I'm down 50 pounds. Could probably be down a little bit more, but every once in a while I slip back a little bit and maybe have a beer.
Backsliders wine.
Yeah.
Sliders wine.
Maybe
Jeff Walker.
Maybe a beer or 6 or 12.
Yeah.
Or a Whataburger here and there. I still can't completely get away from that. Instead of 5 a week, I might have 1 a month. But I never knew that a Whataburger could take the place of crack because the first time I'd been about 2 months without having a Whataburger, and I love Whataburger. It just for fast food, it's about as good as it gets. And I got me an old number 4 with jalapenos, and I ate that thing in like 20 seconds. And I just looked down there like, what have I done? I just destroyed this thing.
The last time I had a water.
Oh my gosh.
That was so good.
So good. But
It's been months since we've had a Whataburger.
At least November.
well, y'all just eat way too good.
Way too good.
Yeah, we
Way
hadn't had
too
one
good.
since November, since we started this deal.
Somebody was eating one at work the other day. I said, "Oh my god, it sounds
Just
so
the
good."
smell, it's just so good. A little
French
spicy ketchup
fries.
on your fries.
I always ate the
Milkshake.
number 2, the double meat, double cheese, with jalapenos all the way with mustard.
Yep.
Man,
Can't beat it.
That sucker was good. Man.
I'm going to ruin it right here.
Yeah,
You just gained a pound by doing that.
Yeah,
didn't you?
just talking about it.
Yeah,
I'm fixing to kill 9 months of diet and exercise. All in.
We're ending this and the Whataburger now.
Yeah, first podcast. Oh shit, we're done.
Can't have that. Can't have it.
All right. Yeah, I'm down 158 pounds since November 20th. So
That's a whole person.
yeah, I'm. Someone said I've lost more than my wife weighs.
That is true.
That is
is.
true. I've lost my wife.
I was 158 back in the 3rd grade, I think. 3rd or 4th grade.
Mary's lost 21.
21.
She's a beast.
Yeah.
21 pounds, and
She is a beast.
yeah.
Both our women are beast. Brenda's lost
Brenda
about 40.
Kicks
and
my butt and body pump. Jeez.
she's a monster.
Man, we've had a good run.
Still got a long ways to go.
Yeah,
Got to keep it rolling.
got to get to my ideal weight.
It's
Have you figured
Yeah.
out what that is?
No, I hadn't figured it out yet.
He hasn't
you
told anybody.
can't say what the idea weight you want to be.
Yeah, that's right.
or the type of ideal weight you want to be on this podcast. Let's not use that phrase.
That's right. Yeah, I just want to hear my doctor tell me that I'm my ideal weight. My whole adult life, I don't know if I don't know if I've ever been my ideal weight. I've probably always been on the big end of the scale. But I know my whole adult life I've never been my ideal weight for my height. So I just want to hear those words once. I may go to 4 or 5 doctors, pay my copay just to hear them damn words.
Or either that or just, get taller.
Yeah,
If
grow
you were
taller.
7'4", you'd be there.
That's what I always say. I'm height challenged.
Yeah, that's right. I'm height challenged. Man.
If I was 7'4", I'd be looking good.
Yeah. Hey, Kevin started walking.
Yeah.
He did.
How many days this week have you hit?
I only hit 5.
Hit
Only 5. That's
awesome.
good.
That's awesome, man.
Your last, was it with you last day?
Yeah, Wednesday.
It started raining.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I've been counting cows and just finding other stuff to do. Got to get back out there.
Wednesday we'll be over there. What time you want to do it Wednesday?
I don't care.
I need to call Mark. Y'all, Mary does body pump at 5:30. What about 7?
5:30, 6:30.
Cool.
Well, you got to wait till it cools off anyway.
Yeah.
I got a pretty good street. It's going always shaded on one side or the other. Morning side or evening, just the way the sets and rises.
I got them old trees.
Yeah. There's a bunch of big trees in the neighborhood. I don't walk that far. He didn't have no problem.
Shit, we'll be
It
there.
hadn't always been that way.
Walking is walking.
No.
Yeah,
How many
no, it's
times
been
did I
there.
stop on my first mile on the
10
track?
times.
10 times.
Yeah. I mean, I was hurting, man.
Even
475.
when we did 7.5 over there, you didn't stop. Really. Other than take a picture at the mile marker.
I stopped when we did the 12.5. My back was killing me. That's way too long. Too far.
That's the farthest we've done so far is 12.5.
Yeah, we took a little 30-minute break after the first 7.5.
Yeah.
And then came back and walked the 5.
Shoot. When we did the overnight, I was ready to put daggers in you.
That overnight was brutal, man.
It was brutal.
You talked yourself out of that one.
God.
Yeah.
4 Imodiums.
Yeah.
Get there
Yeah.
5 hours early, and it's only 170,000 degrees at the pavement.
God.
Man, it was miserable. No wind. It was the hottest day of the year up to that point.
It was
What-
over 100.
Yeah, what we're talking about is it's called
The overnight walk.
Suicide Prevention Awareness Association or Suicide Prevention Association or something like that. But they put on different places throughout the country an overnight walk. And the symbolism is that you start walking when the sun goes down and you walk all night and then you walk out of the darkness in the morning. And so it's called Out of the Darkness. And it's the purpose is to bring mental illness and suicide out of the darkness and to bring, get a discussion
Bring
going
attention
about
to
it,
it.
and to really, see if we could help some people that if we could save one life type of deal. I say we, they is a better caricature because I did that sucker one time. I don't know if I'm ever going to do it again.
God, it was brutal.
But you start in downtown Dallas. It's 16.5 miles course. And that's why we did the 12.5 mile. We had done a 12.5 miles in the park here up to that point, and I'm thinking we can do the 16.5. And so we get there. I get there early. We didn't know what to expect, so I'm laid out at City Hall in Dallas in the heat, just laid out on the cement, just sweating. They wouldn't let us stay in the building in the air conditioning, and but it was amazing talking to the people. Everybody was talking about how suicide affected them. There was one young girl who was early 20s that I met whose brother killed himself 3 weeks before the walk, and she came out to do the walk, and it was just an amazing.
People of all ages that were parents, grandparents, brothers, sisters, kids.
And you wear different color beads to how suicide affected your life, and they had speakers before the start, and it's a moving experience, the whole deal. But if you do it somewhere in temperatures lower than say 110. This was maybe somewhere with a
Awful.
breeze.
How about
That's
winter
bad.
time?
Yeah, winter time, something, man.
Yeah, and me and
it's
Emma
horrible.
just came to watch.
Yeah.
And
so,
then all of a sudden, we're walking.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
hell.
Leanne and I showed up. We raised $1,000 each, and because that was what you were supposed to do to
This is
be
Leanne
able to
Keenum.
walk.
Another-
Leanne Keenum.
Another
And-
friend who's been there through the
Yeah,
whole thing.
she's been through this whole journey with us, and she showed up with she rode with me, so she's laid out on the damn concrete with me in the heat for 3 hours. But we finally Mary and my daughter, my middle girl Emma, they just came up for the opening ceremonies and to encourage us and see us off. And this was a Saturday night. And Emma had worked all day at the greenery, outside, walking all day, selling and potting and selling stuff. It's a landscaping nursery and all kinds of stuff. The greenery sells all kinds of neat stuff. And so they come up just to see us off. So they get there about the time the opening ceremonies start. They get worked up into the whole hoopla of the deal, and when they say go, they just start walking with us. They had never mentioned wanting to walk or anything, and they just said they're going. And so now Mary, she had done body pump and done.
I done body pump that day. Oh my god!
And she wasn't ready to walk, so she just walked. Mary and Emma, she's a beast. We
got this.
So they started walking with us. They didn't. I don't even know if they had the right shoes. I don't even know if they had tennis. I can't remember.
I did have on walking shoes.
Yeah, and so all four of us take out in this group of people, and immediately I fall to the back. And what I didn't plan for was that it's different than walking on a damn concrete hike and bike trail. You're walking through them old downtown neighborhoods and out into East Dallas, out in the Lakewood, out in the old neighborhoods, and up Greenville up to the north and over to SMU. And you're going through these, you're stepping off curbs, you're stepping up on curbs, you're crossing streets. They don't stop the traffic, especially if you're last.
It's the middle of the damn night.
Yeah, in the middle of the night, and the sidewalks in those old neighborhoods are, they're not flat by any stretch of the imagination. They go up and down, and it was just brutal, man. I mean, it was a beating, and we were always the last ones to the rest areas, and so they were packing them up. When we got there, we had to pry food out of them to get them to give us stuff. But and then. Leanne got hot, and so they've got these chaser cars or whatever you call the people, the support groups.
Yeah, they'll pick you up.
They'll pick you up and take you to the next rest area. Well, they took her to SMU, which is one of the big rest areas. That's the 10-mile mark, and Mary and I and Emma finally made it to SMU. I don't even know how many hours it took us to get there, but
they were packing it up.
Yeah, we had our own cop car following us.
He stayed with us. The whole
because
time.
nobody was behind us, and every time you'd ask one of the helpers, they'd say, "Oh yeah, there's people behind you." I think they're trained to lie.
And the whole time I'm thinking, bullshit.
Yeah, there ain't nobody behind us. So we get up to SMU, and Leanne's been sitting there. Leanne said they've come and tried to make her get on a bus 2 or 3 times. They said no one else is out there on the trail. Everyone's done here and gone. And Leanne said, "No, they're not. I've got friends still walking." And she had to make them
wait.
Yeah, make her wait. And so we get there, and they're trying to hustle us out of there. And at that point, we were done. We did 10 miles in that heat, and up and down, and we quit.
It was another 6.5 miles.
Yeah, it was another 6.5 miles back to City Hall down from SMU. And hell, they'd already lost us once. They didn't even know we were still out there.
No, they did not.
And so we just they put us on a nice air-conditioned bus and took us back to the City Hall. And you walk in through this luminarias, they called them, the sacks with candles in it. tributes to people, memorials of people who have committed suicide, and there's just hundreds of them, if not 1,000 or more. And you go through that, and you walk through like a finish line, and everybody's there giving you hugs, and it's a moving experience if you ever do it. But I highly recommend you don't do it in Dallas in June. And so, but it's a wonderful.
There goes that sponsor.
Yeah. I'm not going to have that sponsor, everybody. Yeah.
We need to go to the one that's in Alaska.
Maybe the Pacific, Los Angeles. Isn't it always 70 out there or something
like that.
Yeah, man.
It's hot when it's 90.
Oh man, it was the hottest day of the year up to that point, and there was no wind through most of it. Yeah. Not a drip of, not a one gust. It was horrible.
It's a good sponsorship for you, though.
Yeah.
I mean, people need somebody to talk to.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. Absolutely. It's a wonderful, wonderful group.
You got to have somebody.
It was moving. It really was.
And what really got me was just talking to the people that are there, so open about the suicides in their lives and how it's affected them, and the support, and it's. There was people there that do those all over the place, and some of those people do it every year. And there was a Brandon, a guy I know from my old deer lease. His wife's brother killed himself years ago, and so he and his wife and his wife's sister, they do it every year, and they finished it about the time I got on the bus. He texted me that they were done, so he was 6.5 miles ahead of me on that trip. So they humped it. He's an I've always heard there's only 2 ex-Marines. Charles Whitman, and Lee Harvey Oswald. Everyone else, once you're a Marine, Whitman's the guy down in Texas that shot everybody from the
tower.
From the tower, and those are the only 2 ex-Marines that there are. But he was a Marine, and he and his wife and his wife's sister, they must have humped it, man.
Suicide and mass killings. This is going to be a great podcast.
Yeah, great podcast. That may be the name of it, Suicide and Mass Killings. You might have found our episode name.
Well, you've tried to put us through some stuff. You put me and Mary out there when it was, about 15 degrees, sleet.
So cold. It was sleety.
There was nobody in Gitzendaner except that murderer's little van sitting out there.
Where those people were.
Trying to lure little kids.
It had locks on the back of it and everything,
That's
and we just
exactly
knew that
what
this.
It was some pedophile.
First time we walked fast. It's like it's too cold to be out there. And
well, they didn't want you.
And then there was one car parked out there that was all fogged up in the windows, so we don't know what they were doing.
It was, it was a cold night that night.
It was cold.
Had to do what you had to do to stay warm.
Yeah.
Hey, those 2 guys getting out of the car looked happy. Okay.
Oh my gosh!
Oh man!
It was sleeting. It was cold.
Oh yeah, there was a. Well, that the day it was fogged up. That one time we went out there, it was raining.
Often, like that was their regular time.
It was a terrible night. It was so
cold.
bad out there.
Yeah, it was just you, me, and Mary.
Yeah, I text you saying, "We're not doing this, are you?" And he says, "F the weather," but he used some other language. So we went out and did it.
And we walked how many miles that day in that?
Well, we just went around we were just going around the park.
But we went like 4 miles or something.
We went around a bunch of times.
Yeah, and the park was flooded from rain.
Yep.
It was kind of neat.
No, it wasn't neat at all. It's like saying body pump is fun. It's not fun.
I had on a coat that went past my.
Hey, it's adversity that makes the experience.
Whatever.
Yeah.
People don't need to walk when
That's what you keep telling
20
us.
degrees.
That's I forgot about that day.
I haven't. It's etched in my mind. I lost 2 toes.
You do body pump and stuff?
Yep.
He did body, or got him in body. He did aqua aerobic.
That at the Gold's Gym?
Yeah. Hey, tell him about the damn 3D deal.
Oh, the scans?
Yeah, I'm scared to do this. I don't
Yeah,
want them people to know that much about me.
Well, number one, you have your underwear on, Vance. They're not going to know everything about you unless you wear really short underwear.
Really tight underwear.
Yeah, they're still not going to know much about you. Even though you don't need the tee, we know about that. But yeah, the first time I got on there, I realized why Brenda really doesn't have anything to do with me because I look like a silverback gorilla. It was terrible.
But tell them what they do.
They put you on a pedestal and they
Brenda,
swing you around and that makes basically a claymation on you, but you can see it on the screen. And
you get on this damn thing in your underwear, and one of the physical trainers there at Gold's Gyms is operating it.
No, well, they're not in there when you dress down to your skivvies. It's just you and the turntable. And it takes about 20 seconds for your life to come to a real screeching halt because they pull it up on the screen and you get to see every bump and bruise and knot and it was terrible. I mean, I never believed that we've evolved from anything, but now I may because I did. I looked like a silverback gorilla. I had bumps and bruises. It was no. Now I know why Brenda says no. I mean, I really.
I look like Homer Simpson.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh my
Homer
gosh.
Simpson shape.
It was bad. But
That trainer knows more about you than probably your wife.
Utana knows a lot about me, and she's. But I've got to see some of the inches come off, and it's been a good thing. So as you see the fat content come down and the muscle go up a little bit, that's exciting. But I still look like a silverback gorilla, but not as big anymore.
Can you talk them into putting the T up instead of a dot?
Can they enhance some parts of the image?
I tried.
We coming out of there with your chest out.
I just told them it's like a mirror. Sometimes the reflection may not be the actual size. Okay,
That's right.
I can
Objects
show
in
you
the
something I'm
mirror
really
are-
proud of.
Yeah. You've lost inches. Not there, please. It's the only place I don't want to.
I did not do all of that when we started.
I didn't either. I didn't do the 3D deal. There's a local attorney. His name is Bill Scott, and he's got a good sense of humor. But one of his jokes is that God's got a sense of humor because when you gain weight and get fat, you get fat everywhere but where you really want to get bigger. And so I always thought that was an apt joke. Unfortunately.
Okay.
We find it funny.
I don't find the humor in it. It's true.
The truth hurts.
Yeah, the truth hurts.
Oh man.
But yeah. All right. Wynne, what else you got?
Just appreciate your continued support, and it's been fun. Even though I give you a hard time about it most days, keep rocking. You're doing some great things, and I appreciate the way that you motivate others. Every time somebody sees you, they're more and more impressed. And there's people that get up on Monday morning wanting to see that video. They want to see what's going on in your life. So don't get discouraged. If you don't want to gain weight right now, you might not want to swim 4,000 meters because you're building some muscles, big boy. Yeah. So there may be some little setbacks on the weight loss because it's come off so quick. But you're doing a fantastic job, and God bless you for going out there and motivating other people because you've touched a lot of people's lives and in a good way. And I'm glad to be on this run with you.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that, man. That's nice. For those that don't know about nobody knows this is the first podcast. But I'm acting like that. We got fans and listeners and shit. For those of you out there that still may not know, but
they tuned out about an hour and a half.
Yeah, nobody's gonna be listening to this.
Both you people out there.
Yeah.
For the people in the room,
our wives will listen.
Even asleep.
But videotape shows my age. I record on my smartphone. Is that better?
Yeah.
I record on my smartphone, but I haven't figured out how to get out of portrait mode yet. I got to get to landscape mode. But I record on.
You don't have to anymore.
On my smartphone. Yeah.
You needed landscape the first time.
Yeah, that's right. I record on my phone. Kevin pulled out his flip phone to show off.
Hey, it
That's
works.
how technologically challenged I am.
And 1980 just called. They want their phone back. Okay.
Yeah,
And
that's
you
right.
sound like my brother.
Yeah.
We're going to drag you into this century.
Kicking and screaming.
It does what I wanted it to.
Yeah.
It dials. It calls out.
That's all you need.
That's all I need.
And hope nobody calls you.
Yeah, it's never on. It's
Yeah,
never
you don't
on.
ever turn it
I
on.
know. Try to save the battery.
Yeah.
I only need it when I want to call somebody.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
But I record myself every Monday weighing in when I get up, and I put it on YouTube, and I put it on my website, Extrausual, and I put it on my social media pages, Facebook, which is Vance Hinds, my Instagram, which is Vance_Hinds, and my Twitter account, which is LawDog1550. And so I post the video out there for all the world to see in my glory how I did the week before. And if you go back and look at the last 2 weeks, you'll notice I've gained a pound both weeks. So it's been I've kind of I was 160 down, and now I'm 158 down. But I'm going to get back on the right track this Monday.
You're still on the right track.
Yeah, well, you had
You're
gout.
still on the right
You've been
track.
dealing with gout.
Yeah, I've been dealing with gout. I learned a lot about gout researching it. You know, I mean, they talk about it being the disease of kings, people that eat red meat and drink alcohol. You know, I don't do any of that on this deal. And so I couldn't figure out why I had
You're
it.
extra usual.
Yeah, but you know, it's also happens to a lot of people after bariatric surgery. So I think it's more the weight loss. You know, your body metabolizing. You know, the 158 pounds I lost or whatever.
You haven't had any weight loss surgery.
No, I have not had any bariatric surgery.
But it's been a pretty rapid
rapid
weight loss.
It's been 9 months, 158 pounds.
That's
But-
a
so it's like
lot of weight.
it's like someone who had surgery. But I've done this without any surgery, without any drugs or anything. I've done it natural, the DDP way. but the I forgot what I was talking about.
You're weighing.
Oh, shit, I forgot now. Yeah, we'll have to go on to another topic. He'll come back to me later. But you know, if you want to follow us and follow the journey on social media, follow along, check it out. We're going to try to do a podcast every Saturday, and then I'm going to figure out this one we're trying to do to get it. This is the test run. I think we're an hour in, hour and 2 minutes
Hour
in.
and 2 minutes.
Okay,
Yeah.
time to wrap it up.
Yeah, and so this is our,
Somebody needs
Mary's
a beer.
giving me the cut sign. This is our maiden voyage. We're trying to see, they're counting down, so I'm running out of time.
The music's starting to play.
Yeah, wait a minute. I want to thank, I got to thank all the key grips, and I got to thank the Teamsters that hauled my
Your fat
luggage.
ass around.
Yeah, my fat ass around. Yeah, no, but that's what I call Mary. She's the chief key grip on our review videos. Chief key grip and fluffer. So
Okay, we need to leave if we're going to be fluffing this long. That's all I know.
all right, so we're going to shut her down. I want to thank everyone who's listening right now. Thank you, all our supporters and fans. I hope you stay with us through this. And if anybody actually did get to the end of this podcast, thank you for listening. We're going to try to do it every week, every Saturday, and send some names to me. I'll try to get them in here and get them interviewed. We're going to try to do it on Saturdays at 2. And so we need people that can get in here on Saturdays at 2. I want to again thank my sponsors, even though they don't know they're my sponsors. Diamond Dallas Page, DDP Yoga, Bert Chrysler, The Machine. Don't miss his His Netflix special coming out August 24th. Chef Torres at Fresh Enrico. Get your meal preps from him. And Crazy Water from Mineral Wells, Texas. It's a regionally supplied water. It's only like Texas and the surrounding states or something like that. But if you go to a Buc-ee's in Texas, they're going to have Crazy Water. So Buc-ee's carries Crazy Water. So I want to thank the sponsors, the people that have helped me get there this far. I want to give a shout out to Camp Gladiator. They've given us some free classes. Wynne participated in our free Camp Gladiator class.
I'm not thankful for that.
I've done a couple of those.
Yeah,
oh man,
I'm
they
good
killed
with
me.
Too hot.
Yeah, but they've supported me through this journey as well. Felicia Harding and oh man, what's the other one? Monica Jaramillo. Monica Jaramillo.
So you're trying to say bye, Felicia?
Yeah, bye, Felicia. And so, all right. So we're getting the closing wraps. Hopefully
thanks for being
someday
here.
I'll have some music or something to play. But this is all I got today. Kevin, as always, thank you for the wise ass comments and the color commentator. Mary, thank you for being the beautiful portion of the podcast and the wit and the female voice of the podcast. And Wynne, thank you for being our inaugural test interviewee, even though you didn't know you were going to be that when you woke up this morning.
Thank you.
And in fact, you didn't know you were going to be that until you got to Ange, did you?
I didn't know I was going to be the interviewee until just about the time I got here.
Yeah, until you sat in the chair and put
You
the
just wanted me to
headphones
do some
on.
sound
You're getting interviewed
bites.
today.
Yeah. Well, thank you for coming and participating.
Enjoyed
All
it.
right,
See you.
guys, we'll see y'all next time and lose some weight.
Woo!
Lose some weight.
Get some.